Last lesson of the unit. Now you'll notice that it's labeled 8-1. It's still Unit 7. I didn't want to mix up the, I want to label it the same as the book, but we're using this as units. We're still using this part as Unit 7, even though it's Section 8.1 in the book. So just be aware of that. It's Lesson 8.1, but it's still part of Unit 7. So, so this is solving equations, trig equations, with a graph. And the reason that I left it in here in Unit 7 was because Unit 8 is all about solving trig equations, but they don't use any graphing. So I thought we'd just throw it in with the graphing, and then we can deal with graphing for a while. So it's actually very, very easy to solve a trig equation with a graph. You have to make sure that the equation is equal to 0, because we're going to use our graphing calculators. If you don't have your graphing calculators, you're going to go grab them. Okay, we have to determine the period. That's usually fairly simple, all right, 2 pi over b. We're going to graph it over the period, and then we're going to use the calculator zero finder to determine the x-intercepts. And then for each x-intercept, it's going to be that value plus k times the period. So it's very, very simple. This is actually one of the shortest videos I've recorded in a long time. As long as you can use your graphing calculator to find x-intercepts, you'll be just fine. So look at this is just a screenshot of of a graphing calculator, just to see. You're looking for these zeros, okay? These points where the graph crosses the x-axis. So, and you notice the 0 here. This is what your graphing calculator will do for you. If you can't remember how to do this, I wrote it down here. It's second. It's second trace. Oh, it should be in here. I think I had to go grab the graphing calculator to put it on here, but it's second. I say second calc, but it's second trace, because the calc is the second function of that. 2, and then you'll find the zeros. You'll need to put boundaries on them so that you find the right ones. If you have trouble with this, I can show you how to do this in class tomorrow. So you'll need to select boundaries. Remember, you have to pick the right and the left boundary or the left and the right boundary so that you can get the right 0. And make sure you get all the zeros on that period. And we'll talk a little bit more tomorrow about graphing calculator hints. So here we're going to solve this equation. The first thing we need to do is set it equal to 0. Okay. So we have 5 sine 3x plus 6 cosine 3x minus 1 equals 0. And then we have to find the period. And if you look at both sine and cosine have the same b value, which is important. Otherwise, it's either one or the other, and you'll actually have to look at your graphing calculator to figure out which one. So it's 2 pi over 3. So this is our period. So this will be what our solutions are added to. So now I'm going to plug this into a graphing calculator. I'm going to get the answers. Now I can't actually do that on this part. So I'm going to have 0.7123 plus 2 pi over 3. Okay, and then 1.845 plus 2 pi over 3k. And this will give these to me. This will give these to me with both of these values are within the period 0 to 2 pi over 3. So so make sure that you're not going over or under the period when you're looking for the values. You need to make sure you include all of them. Usually there's only 2, sometimes there's 3, sometimes there's as many as 5 or 6. So okay, so practice 1. This one looks a little weird because it has the sine squared. To put that in a graphing calculator, you do parentheses sine 2x parentheses squared, and then you will and you can finish it from there. But other than that, it works exactly the same like everything else. Your period is still 2 pi over 2, so the period in this case is going to be pi. And I plug it in my graphing calculator. And I'll find there's actually 2 solutions, so 3.3289 plus k pi and 2.812 plus k pi. And that's the end. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll go over some graphing calculator stuff tomorrow if you had trouble with it in here.